You are listening to Rouge Radio, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
It's time to get the point as Rouge Radio is ready to kick off.
Ready!
The best football talk with the best in the business.
So what is the cost? You have 2 first-round picks this year because the Argos were dumb enough to trade for Drew Willie.
A few rookies.
We go directly to the on-field product. We welcome to the show the 20th overall pick in this past Sunday's CFL draft, DeAndre Wright of the Alouettes. DeAndre, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
And the occasional Hall of Famer.
Please welcome Dru Brown, who is one of the members of the current class of 2016 in the CFL Hall of Fame. Doug, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you guys for the kind words and for having me on the program.
Rouge Radio is on the air. Here's your hosts, Robert Dalton and Tony Allen.
Edition of the Rouge Radio podcast powered by the Canadian Football Podcast Network. This is episode 559. We are sponsored by the good people over at Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, enter the promo code Rouge. You will get 20% your entire order, much as well as free worldwide shipping. Go to Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. My name is Robert Dalton, live in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And if you're watching this, oh man, you look sick. I don't know if you we're gonna if you're downloading this show and you're wondering why this is a very short episode, this is why. Tony looks like you got hit with a Mack truck. You look horrible.
Yeah, but the show must go on, right? Play through the pain.
Yeah, the pain. Obviously, usually we would have done some other stuff we would have foregone, but I feel that we owe it to the listeners to at least some big news that happened yesterday. The Ottawa Red Blacks decided to decide to expedite their tanking, if you could tank in the CFL, by doubling down on Jake Maier, by trading Dru Brown, as well as a second-round pick in 2027 for a second-round pick in 2027 and a first-round pick in 2028. And then the Red Blacks went ahead and signed the Bumblebee. The Bumblebee is back in the CFL. I know that I don't want to get your thoughts on the Bumblebee unless you want to add, because you're like below the weather. Thoughts on the trade later. Thoughts on the trade?
The trade, honestly, I can't believe it. Like, this whole it just, I don't know. I'll admit I've been out of the loop a little bit this week as I've started my a new site, and if you do keep track, I am now in Elk Valley, British Columbia, just north of Sparwood, south of I forgot the other place. Never mind. I'm not going to say the other. Fernie, south of Fernie, BC. So up in the mountains. So
you've just named 3 places that everybody is just about Googling where they are.
Yeah, just Google that hard. Anyways, no, I think it's absolutely mind-blowing that 4 weeks ago we were all in on this revamped, rebuilt, retooled Ottawa Red Blacks team, and then here we are today, talking about Dru Brown as the savior of Ottawa football, and just like that, he's gone. Like, I don't know what's going on with that football team. Like, that just, I'm absolutely gobsmacked, as they say, for lack of a better word. I don't know what is happening in Ottawa right now with that football club.
I find it funny, like, was it last week or the week before? We were literally talking about possible quarterback controversy because Jake Maier was Jake Maier. And Dru Brown was looking at the sidelines, like the camera was panning on him, and you could tell that he was pissed that he was not getting the opportunity to dig up out of that hole that Ottawa has been creating. Now, obviously, Ryan, you never go against a guy that has won 2 Grey Cups as a coach in the last 5 years, or 4 years, sorry. So you never go against his coaching prowess. Well, this is his
what
first.
Did Dru Brown do? Like, Ottawa just flipped on. Like, Toronto treated Chad Kelly better after his run-in with the law than Ottawa Red Blacks treated Dru Brown. Like, what did he do? Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah. There's been rumblings that Dru Brown had wanted out of Ottawa. I don't know to what degree. And
Yeah.
obviously, as a starting quarterback, it didn't work out. Injuries played a good portion of it. I mean, we had the topic of conversation last year. Is Dru Brown a victim? Is he a victim of Buck Pierce syndrome? Is he a victim of Anthony Calvillo syndrome? Well, Anthony Calvillo syndrome was something else, but where the way he plays leads him to not have a very lengthy career. And I think, you
Yeah.
know, having a 1A, 1B system might help him a little bit, specifically in Winnipeg, uh, where if you make him the second, you're not doing anything and you're doubling down on, like, I I don't even get it from Winnipeg's point of view. Like, okay,
Yeah.
we talk about, okay, well, now what if Zach goes down? Are you comfortable with Taylor Elgersma? Probably not, again. But Collaros has actually been pretty decent this year in the first two games.
Yeah.
I made this comment online that when Ottawa released Max Duggan, their third string quarterback, and signed an unknowing guy, the Winnipeg made a decent move. That's not the move that they needed to make. It's not the move that they needed to make.
No.
Any Anything else you want to add before we go on to the show?
No. No. I'm ready to move on.
All right, let's go. Let's go to week 4 predictions. And of course, we are partnered with the good people over at Sports Interaction. Go to sia.com/Rouge. Your first deposit will be matched up to 100%. Edmonton is in Winnipeg. It looks like that we are on the verge of a 16th straight sellout at Princess Auto Stadium. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are favored by 3, but I feel that is very friendly and generous to the Bombers. The over-under is at 54.5. Nick Anderson, Joe Robustelli still out for the Edmonton Elks. Nothing noteworthy for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Tony, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. Cole's notes version. I think I'm agreeing with the lines on these ones. I think Winnipeg. I think uh, as much as we want the Elks to keep rolling, they're the fun story early on in the CFL season. But I think Edmonton might run into a better football club now than they started against. And I'm probably at the end of the day going to take Winnipeg this one at home. Probably another amazing night by Justin Rankin, but probably not enough on this night. I'll give the Bombers, excuse me, actually, I should probably take big scores. I should probably take something that reaches the over because offenses have not had a trouble.
Mm,
Offenses have not had problems in 2026 so far. So, what's our over 53 points or something like that? You said
54 and a half.
54 and a half. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sick, so I can't do math in my head right now, but I mean, we'll go 35-21 Edmonton. I
I
don't know if
think the
that
only,
quite makes the spread, but
yeah,
or sorry, Winnipeg. I meant Winnipeg. 35-21 Winnipeg.
I don't think it's going to be that big of a score, but I'm kind of going, um, I'm leaning towards that, a Winnipeg win. Justin Rankin, I think he'll still have success in production on the ground. Winnipeg still has to have that run defense fixed. They got ran over in the first half against Hamilton. They figured it out, but by then it was too late. Completely different story in Calgary in week 1 where they were ran over. They figured it out, but they were still within fighting distance. I think this is going to be somewhat similar to the Calgary game. I think that Winnipeg might get run over in the first half, figure it out, and come on top. Edmonton's defense is a different animal than what Winnipeg's faced before. They faced a Jalen Hutchins and Ora Malati, Les Stampeders. They faced a Wynton McManus and Jamal Peters. I know I'm a big fan of Nick Anderson, but outside of that, pretty relatively healthy squad in Edmonton. So you've got some opportunities on the defense to show that you got it. But at the same time, Winnipeg's offense has actually been pretty decent, and I don't think they're Winnipeg. And we're already. It's funny how much of a legacy Winnipeg has built. They're only 1-1, and I think there's been some doom and gloom over the last couple of days over the acquisition of Dru Brown. But long story short, if that's any way possible, I like Justin Rankin, 150 yards on the ground and through the air, just not enough. I think Winnipeg wins this one, 32-28 over the Edmonton Elks. Next game, the Toronto Argonauts are going to be without Robert Priester, who announced online today that he is going to be done for the year after tearing his ACL. The Saskatchewan Roughriders possibly might be without AJ Ouellette, tending the right direction, but if you're Corey Mace, in my opinion, rest him. Running backs are a dime a dozen. As good as he is, you can afford to rest him. Saskatchewan is favored by 3.5 points. The over/under is at 56.5. I'm confident that this will be the under. I think defenses will be in high demand in this one. I think you're going to see a lot of 15 to 20 yard pass attempts, and you might even see more turnovers in this game. I think defense is going to be aplenty in this one, and I think Saskatchewan extends their unbeaten streak here. I'll take Saskatchewan 25-19 over the Toronto Argonauts. Tony.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to my games here. I was checking something out. Two teams, again, two more teams where offense isn't a problem for these guys. Even on good days, still giving out about 20 points. I like Rough Riders over the Argonauts in this one as I race my way through these. And probably a pretty good score again, 28-21 Riders.
All right. The third game of the week, the Calgary Stampeders, who fresh off a contract extension to Jalen Hutchins, as we talked about him earlier in the show, are in BC to play the BC Lions without a good chunk of the receivers, although Keon Hatcher has been practicing, limited, but practicing nonetheless, so they might get him back sooner rather than later. Both these teams 0-2. We never would have expected these teams to be 0-2 after week 3, but here we are. Where you got this game going?
I don't know. This one is a big question mark for me, not just because they're 0-2, but I mean they don't seem to have, again, like, offense is the name of the game for 2026, and I'm not even really sure to do, because I mean 0-2 teams that are still putting up 30 points in some games. Like Calgary puts up 37 points and still loses in overtime. Like, I mean, right now they look like the best 0-2 football team
Oh my God,
that's ever existed, because that's possible to be the best 0-2. That's a real thing. That's a real metric you can use. So, I mean, I don't know. BC at home, it's not a far trip for Calgary, but I mean, probably another stumble for the Stampeders. Maybe not a great football game. Maybe the offenses come out, but we've got to have a stinker one of these weeks, and this one might be it. But I'm going to take the BC Lions 21-17.
I don't think this one's going to be the stinker. Honestly, I think this is going to be the game of the week, in my opinion. It looks like I froze, but so I'm going to be talking for the rest, and you're not going to know if I'm going to eye roll, which is great.
Big R.
This is good internet that we have.
Big orange R.
BC is favored by 1.5. The over/under is at 54. I like the over in this one. I think both, the front seven in BC hasn't been as good as they can be, but at the same time, it very well could be. I don't think they're taking advantage of that front seven. Whereas Calgary, they get off to a slow start sometimes in the first quarter, and it's showed, and it's really shown when they get out of the gates slow. I think right now you take the home team in the battle of on winless. Sometimes you just have to take the home team, regardless of the injuries. Even some depth receive. This is where their depth receivers are can show up, and possibly, you've got the front seven in BC that can show Vernon Adams. These are the front seven, and I'm still waiting for that front seven to show up and just show their utter dominance. I'm going to go BC 32, Calgary 27.
All right, and I'm going to get through this quick because it's probably my internet. If you can believe it or not, signal isn't great when you're smack dab in the middle of the mountains, the Rocky Mountains. But I'm going to get through this one quick at the Red Blacks one with a Alouettes win 27-10.
Yeah. The Alouettes are favored by 8.5. The over-under is at 55.5. You know what? I'm going to go the over, but I'm going to go complete blowout for Montreal. You talked about that you thought that the previous game was going to be the stinker. I think this one's going to be one, but for the wrong reasons. I think Montreal just shows up. They got, I'm not exposed, but sometimes when you get beat on the road against a team that you're expected to beat, regardless of our expectations in Edmonton, you come out at home and you just beat the ever-loving crap out of the team that faces you. Luckily, they've got the Bumblebee and Jake Mayer under center in Ottawa, and I think that just plays well into the demeanor of Montreal. I feel Montreal wins this one handedly, 42-15. I just had to do my quick math just to make sure that they get the over in that one. So we both got Montreal, we've got BC, we've got Saskatchewan, and we've got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I completely forgot. We owe you a Mr. Perfect theme.
I was even going to say that with my final thought, but you clicked in, so.
All right. So with that
either way, at least it's acknowledged, and that's probably good enough that it was acknowledged in the week that it should have been acknowledged. So
that's like a perfect pitch perfect fever pitch kind of little, with your illness there. Throw it in there. Anyway, that'll wrap it up for this week's episode. You can follow us on socials at Rouge Radio, myself at Rouge Daltz, Tony at Tony Rouge, and of course you can send us some emails at thenewrouge@gmail.com, and you can subscribe to us on any podcast application, and of course like and subscribe us on YouTube, TikTok at Rouge Radio Pod. For Tony, I'm Daltz. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.